Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fearless and Free TV. Today I have a message that came in yesterday, and this week I'm actually on jury duty this week, so I don't have anybody scheduled to be on my show. I don't have any guests going on this week, just in case I get called into jury duty. So fortunately I have today off and I get to bring you this message. So this message came in yesterday morning from the guardians and protectors of planet Earth, and I'm going to read that to you as I do. So what I do when I get up in the morning and I feel like there's a message coming in, I sit down with my notebook and I write it down as it's coming in, and then later when I have time I sit on my computer and I put it into my computer so then I can read it to you, because I have a difficult time reading my own notes, my own scribbles. So it's better if I read to you from my computer where it's all written out nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you now. One thing I want to share with you up front is that I get invited to remote view what I call the council chambers. So it's this big room where there is a large round table, and at this table sits there's seating for 12. It's the Council of 12, but it's not necessarily the Council of 12. It just depends on who is participating in the council meeting at that particular time. And then up above are all these windows, these small little windows that are like, I guess kind of like televisions, but they're viewing screens that I've been told are for long distance viewing. So if you're someone who's participating in the council meetings, there's 33 of those windows. You can participate in the council meetings and be on a completely different ship, if you will, and it's kind of like Zoom, but in this case it's in space instead of here on the planet. So there's 33 viewing windows, and then a table of 12, and I get invited into this room to listen to the conversations, and sometimes they'll just give me a message. And the way that they communicate is that it's telepathic, so it's one message from the whole in unison rather than one individual in particular speaking. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the message that was given to me. Good morning, dear one. We are the guardians of light, the guardians and protectors of all life on Earth and the Earth domain herself. We are your supporters and co-creators. An entire fleet of guardians and co-creators have mingled and assembled in service to humanity and Earth's creations. We are one. We are unified in purpose. The battle for Terra is complete. Terra is the name the dark side gave the planet known by her beings as Earth. We call her Gaia, her spiritual name, for now, as every planet has a designation rather than a name in the star realm. Yes, we use star locations and star dates to navigate through time and space. Eventually, humanity will join us on our adventures through the cosmos. For now, let us focus on the restoration of Gaia. The war over the souls of humanity has been won, and all the Dark Ones are being extricated from the Earth realm. Yes, refer to this as a realm rather than other labels used to describe the Earth. All other labels only refer to her surface, where the term realm refers to all her multi-dimensions, above, upon, and below. All others place a limitation on her wholeness, and the Earth experience is not limited to a flat plane of existence. We see and work in all dimensions. Know the battle between light and dark on all fronts has been won. All that remains is the physical playing out on your media. All dark players have been brought into custody, and only their minions now running amok without a master to lead them. They too will begin to wake up and see how they've been played. The game is over. The airspace has been cleared, and the shield around the Earth is in process to prevent any further attempts to infiltrate the Earth realm. All dark portals have been sealed off. Tunnels washed clean. Now comes the time of physical cleanup in the Earth realm. This cleanup is much akin to your spring cleaning, or perhaps cleaning for a big move. Everything, every story, every belief, every system will be brought out for reckoning and decision. Cleanup, in its initial stages, as you know, can be painful. Deciding what to keep and what to let go of can be a struggle for the human heart, as it tends to cling to nostalgia and the comfort of old things. Yet many of those things have also brought them suffering. This codependency between the people and their keepers will need reckoning. This is the beginning of the cleanup process, when everything is pulled out of hiding places for exposure to the light and for deciding what to keep and what to let go. You will all find that it is time to let go of almost all of it, as you cannot take old baggage and beliefs into the new world you are creating. Know that you all have our support and assistance as you move through this cleanup process. Once the brokenness is brought out for resolution, the next step of cleaning up is healing, then restoration of Earth and her beings to re-become, as you put it, who you were always meant to be. So what I failed to mention that sometimes I get visuals that go along with the words that I'm hearing, and they're using this term re-become because it's a term that I use a lot. So when I'm teaching students, one of the things I'm teaching is that as we peel off the layers of who we are not, we re-become who we were always meant to be. So that's what this references, is that as the collective of humanity peels off everything that it is not and that doesn't serve us, we come home to who we were always meant to be and who the earth herself was always meant to be. So there's that. This will not be an overnight process, however, and know that we will assist you in making it as quick and painless as possible. Those who have mastered their spiritual skills will be playing an integral role in teaching others how to let go of the old world. Our technologies will help to speed the process. Know the veil has completely torn away and all is becoming transparent. You ask how much longer before this transparency becomes obvious and fully exposed, like an emperor with no clothes to the public eye. So yeah, what I was seeing was the story of the emperor, the emperor's new clothes and how the emperor really didn't have any. So this was a telepathic communication where they saw me asking about the emperor. So the answer is not much longer now. All plans and schemes have been put into place for all the dominoes to fall. All it takes is one tap for all systems to crumble. Yes, we are working behind the scenes to create new self-guided systems, while the old ones implode. This implosion will appear to be in slow motion, giving people time to acclimate and build while the old world collapses. We will and are assisting in every step of both the implosion and the construction. So I was being shown about 10 years ago that all of our systems would begin to implode, and that actually has been in the process of happening, but they've allowed for it to happen so slow that we have time to acclimate before it completely falls apart. So this is a process I was being shown, actually back in 2015 I was being shown this process of how it was like a controlled demolition, and that the rest of the controlled demolition, just as of a couple of months ago, is going to start becoming obvious. So this next part's really good. The parade of charades is about to start, and it will be unmistakable. No one will be able to deny, and no one can hide, as the truth of all things is exposed. The parade has begun. So what I was seeing when they were showing me the parade is this, a parade of people all walking side by side in lines like in a parade. But all of these people that are walking in the parade have shackles on, and they're wearing black and white striped prison uniforms, which I know nobody really uses anymore, but that was just a visual that I got. You will watch in shock and awe, or celebrate the show as it disappears into the nothingness it once came. So some people will watch the parade in shock and awe, and those of us that really know what's going on will celebrate what we see happening, because we know that it's the crumbling of the old world. At the end of the parade will be a great reveal of what is possible when the parade is over and the circus is rounded up. There's always cleanup after a parade. Once the parade is over, cleaning will focus on making the earth shine. So what I was seeing is how, when a parade is over, there's always, people leave debris and trash and stuff, which they shouldn't, but of course some people do. And there's always a cleanup afterwards. So this is now referring to what happens when the parade is over and the cleanup that then occurs afterwards. So again, once the parade is over, cleaning will focus on making the earth shine. All that does not serve the highest and greatest good will be dumped into a dumpster, the metaphorical dumpster, of course, where it will be composted into learning lessons and medium for growth. Remember, cleaning up is a snap when everyone pitches in and does their part. We cannot give exact dates as we cannot see exact dates, only know and trust that the dark side has been defeated and humanity has earned its freedom. We will now send ground crews to assist you in the cleanup process, beginning with pulling everything out for exposure. It is all light speed ahead. Know how much you are all loved. We have fought to the death, so to speak, for your collective survival. Know that it is done, dear one. All is done. All that remains is the cleanup. All is well. All is love. We are one. So that was the message that came in yesterday. And what it feels like to me is that what's interesting is that since I think yesterday people have started seeing these rainbows that actually look like portals. And I think that's what they are. I think there was also a timeline shift on Thursday. So just a few days ago, there was a timeline shift, and we're now back into the Betterment of Humanity timeline. So it's up to all of us to hold that focus, that vision that we're now on this timeline, so that we don't get shifted back into the other one, which it doesn't sound like it will now that the light has officially won. And that we'll now start to see this whole thing start to be unmasked. And that's interesting that the word unmasked just came through, because what I've been seeing is a lot of people. So there are a lot of light workers who are spiritually awake, but they have sleep masks on because the media has been so good at masking. We have the face mask, but really, proverbially, what we've been experiencing is a sleep mask. So a lot of people have sleep masks on, and the masks are going to start coming off. And so a lot of people who are already spiritually awake and just have had the sleep masks put on, I call these the light workers. They are going to be an army to reckon with once they see what has already happened. And a lot of them have already done all the work to liberate their hearts from the fear and the pain, and they have tremendous spiritual gifts that they are not presently using to their fullest potential, and they will be as soon as they take their sleep masks off. So that is going to be the next wave of awakening, and it is going to be massive. And the light workers, once the masks come off, are going to be an army. They're an army that just, they're the sleeping giants, the sleeping lions that just haven't been awoken yet. So then yesterday afternoon, as I was out running errands, I got a little bit more of a message, and I didn't write it down because I'm just remembering what I was hearing as I was driving. What I was being told is that the 3 biggest empires on our earth are going to be dissolved, and that all of the countries and all of the people that are a part of those empires will become sovereign and will no longer owe duty to this is financial duty as well as a emotional duty, if you will, to these 3 empires. So the 3 empires I saw were the British Empire, the American Empire, and the Roman Empire. So the British Empire, although does no longer, and all 3 of these empires no longer call themselves empires because we've moved out of the age of imperialism, but they are still very much empires, just they don't have that appearance because they're no longer called that. So the British Empire I don't know if a lot of people understand that there are still countries all over the world that pay financial duty to the British Empire. The more obvious ones are ones that were part of the British Empire more recently. But for example, there are countries in Africa that still send a tremendous amount of money to the British Empire, to Great Britain, to the Queen. So there will be no more duty to the Queen as the British Empire is brought to an end. And all those countries that are currently owned and manipulated by the British Empire will become sovereign and will no longer owe financial or emotional duty to the Crown. The other empire is the American Empire, and I know we've never called the American Empire an empire, but that's exactly what it is. And we have, the American Empire has its sticky little fingers in countries all over the world that are paying duty to America, and it's never been told to the American people. So we have our 50 states and the 5 territories that we know about. But we have military installations all over the world that are actually controlling all of these small countries, and that they are going to be liberated and sovereign from us as well. The third empire is the Roman Empire, which so many people think the Roman Empire ended like 1,500 years ago, or whenever that was. It still exists. All it did was change names. It is located in Rome, in the Vatican. The Roman Empire is the Holy Roman Catholic Empire, and that too is going to be brought to its knees and cease to exist. And all of the people in all the countries that pay duty to it and pay homage to it will also be set free. They will experience spiritual freedom. So that was a message that came in later yesterday. And then this morning, as I was out walking on the beach, it continued a little bit more, and what I was being shown is fire and brimstone. So, that's a Bible terminology, and I was like, what a fire and brimstone? But I was actually seeing like lasers destroying some of these locations. And it might, I don't know, this could just be my imagination. It could be that the appearance of a meteor shower, for example. It could be something like that. But there's something that is going to put an end to all 3 of these empires. Now, this doesn't mean, of course, that it's the end of America. What it is the end of the American corporation and the empire itself that is built underneath the empire, the American corporation. So America itself will become sovereign from the empire. So I'm seeing so many of these places actually being physically destroyed, either by, it might be the tsunami hitting the East Coast and taking out Washington, D.C. I don't know. That is a possibility. I know that the earth is going to start cleaning house, which means that some of the least desirable locations will be taken down. How that occurs, I can't say. I just know that the earth is going to look very different when this process is complete, including what I was seeing about 2 years ago is a lot of the high-rise corporate buildings are also going to be taken down. But the technology that's going to be used, whether it's Earth technology or ET technology, I don't know. I just know that our 5D Earth is going to look very different from the present Earth that we see. It's going to be much greener and cleaner, and the homage to greed will cease to exist. That's really what all these, I call these high-rise buildings, say in downtown LA, they're phallic symbols essentially, and they're built for the sole purpose of enslaving and containing human beings. So all of those will cease to exist. Of course, I don't know how soon that will be, because that is not the first priority. The first priority is the first stage of cleanup, which is exposing all of the dirt, because we can't clean up the dirt if we don't expose it. So We got to take all of the trash out. We got to clean out all the cupboards. We got to roll up all the rugs and clean up all the dust bunnies and look at all the dirt, clean that up. And then we can start the next phase, which is healing from having to look at all of our pain and all of our stories and all of the dirt. Then we move into phase 3, which is creating and regenerating the earth. This could be a 5-year process. That I don't know. I do think the next 3 months and into 2022 is going to be the exposure part, the part where we all have to look at our junk and we all have to process our personal stories as well as the collective human story. So that's the transition phase. Then the next phase, of course, is healing, and then the third phase is reconstructing. So I hope that helps with understanding what's happening on the earth plane right now. I was very excited to hear that the light forces have won in the overworld and the underworld. So now all that's left is playing it out on our physical realm. And that what I was being shown a couple of years ago is that there will come a time that the media will have no choice but to tell the truth. And I think that time is very near. Once that happens, then all the dirt gets brought out for us to clean it up. So that's it for today. And as always, remember to shine your light so high others can't help but see their own light. Together we will create a world of peace, freedom, and prosperity for all. And remember to get bold, be fearless, and live free. Be sure to hop on over to my official website at victoriareynolds.com and pick up your free gift and check out all the other goodies that I have there for you.